Hey assistant coach, how are you guys doing? It's me, Johnny Sports, and welcome back to another video of mine. And today it's time for the Premier League predictions. All of you guys have been talking about it in my comments on the last 2 weeks. Every single time I was talking about football, you guys wanted me to talk about my Premier League predictions and how I think teams will do this season. So we will get into it straight away as I move a little bit towards that direction and you guys get a list to the left of me. So let's start it off with my list. Obviously there is 20 teams in the Premier League, and as you guys know, there are huge transfers coming into the Premier League, and I will start off my list at the bottom in the 20th position. It is going to be Brighton for me. I just don't see how the team will stay up. I mean, there are just way too many good teams in the Premier League at this point. And I don't think Brighton do have the resources, do have the good enough team to remain in the Premier League. I mean, it's a great achievement that they have gotten into the Premier League. They will enjoy this one season, but I don't think that anyone else in this league table should take their spot. So it's looking like Brighton is going down. In the 19th position, this might be surprising to some of you guys, and it's actually sad that I have put this team into the 19th position because I wish it wasn't that way. I wish this team could stay up, and the team I'm talking about is the team of Rafa Benitez. It is Newcastle. I honestly do think that Newcastle will struggle big time this season because so far in the transfer window, they haven't done anything. I mean, Newcastle, the board is basically not doing what Rafa Benitez wants, and that's a huge issue. If you want to be successful, if you want to keep your team happy and your coach happy, you have to make the additions into the team that the coach is asking for. And that's the big issue right now at Newcastle. It seems like Rafa Benitez is not getting the players that he wants, and I feel like their squad is just not good enough. We have seen it in the past, and I don't feel like the team is much better than the team that got relegated. So I'm sorry, Newcastle, I love you guys, but I don't think that your team is good enough. So yeah, 19th position for you. In the 18th position, I'm going for Huddersfield. I think that they can come into that position and maybe even go up higher, but currently, if I look at the teams, if I look at the squads, I don't see Huddersfield pushing on even further than like the 17th or 16th position max. But right here on this list, since I had to put them into one position, I'm saying 18th, that is the spot I have them. And on to the 17th spot, it is actually West Brom. I mean, they got good players, don't get me wrong, but I just don't feel like that this squad will be doing well this season. I know that they had a couple of really good matches last season. They might have gotten a few additions, but still, West Brom, in my opinion, is just bound to be relegated at some point in the future. We have to just wait for a couple of really good teams to come out of the Championship and dominate. I think Wolverhampton, the way that they have been bringing in players, at some point they will be in the Premier League, and they will be battling against teams like West Brom to remain in the Premier League. And yeah, I don't think West Brom will be staying there for too long, but I think they will be there for another season. So 17th spot for them. Now moving on to a team that is coming in the 16th position, in my opinion, it is Swansea City. And the reason why I think that they will come into the 16th spot is that I haven't seen them really improve their squad, and it might be that Sigurdsson still leaves. I don't know if it has happened yet, but it is rumored that he will leave. And if he does, I could see this team even lower in the league table. I just don't see the quality of the players in there to be higher ranked. 16th position is where I expect them to be. And I just don't feel like there is team chemistry there as much as in other teams that are coming up on the list. So Swansea, 16th spot. I might be right here, I might be wrong. We'll see how it goes. But for now, 16. On to 15. It is Burnley, a team that has been quite difficult to play in the last season. As a Liverpool fan, I do remember our first match against them. It wasn't really good, and they had a couple of really good players in their squad. But today, I think Andre Gray joined Watford. So that might be something that actually changes their route in the next season. But as it stands, I have them in the 15th position. But in my opinion, if they do not replace Andre Gray, they might actually move down even further in the league table they could probably go down to like 17th or 16th, who knows. But it's definitely a huge blow that Andre Gray is leaving to Watford. That is what I read today. So if it happens, they might go down even further, but 15th position for them. Coming in at number 14 is a team that I think just doesn't have the potential to go up higher, but somehow I feel like they have the team chemistry to just remain around the middle of the league table. It is going to be Bournemouth. Bournemouth, in my opinion, have a decent squad, don't get me wrong, but I don't see them going any further than this position. I am quite optimistic with me putting them into the 14th spot, but that's just how I feel. I feel like they could pull off something in this upcoming season. They might be a tough opponent to play against, as they have been in the past. So I do see them coming in the 14th spot. Now moving on to the 13th spot is a team that I hope will be losing their captain. It is Southampton. Van Dijk has put in a transfer request, so it seems like he will be going. Otherwise, Southampton might be losing money in the future. If they sell him on later on, his contract won't be as long. So as long as his contract is lasting for a long time, they need to sell him on, and I do see him leaving in this transfer window. It's either going to be Manchester City, Chelsea or Liverpool in my opinion. So let's see how it goes. But since they will be losing one of their best players, they will look for a replacement, and I don't know who they can get as a replacement at this point. So I'm expecting Southampton to come in into the 13th spot. I mean, they will have a couple of really good games, but I don't expect them to be able to beat the bigger teams. I think this will be a team that could be very happy about draws against the top 6. As we move on into the 12th position, it is as always a team that just remains in the middle of the table, never really aspires to go up higher. I mean, they have a couple of really good players, but I just don't see them going further in this position. It is Stoke City. I do expect them to come in the 12th spot. The reason for that is, yes, they have great players, but I just don't feel like that they have the aspiration in them to just go further in the league table and try to get into like the top 8 maybe. I mean, the squad is really good, don't get me wrong, you guys have some amazing players, but I just don't see it happening. Stoke City in the 12th position in my opinion. And then moving on into the 11th spot, we have Watford, who have made a couple of really good signings, including now maybe Andre Gray, but Richarlison. This guy looks really solid. He looks to be a really big Brazilian talent. I heard a lot of big teams going after him, but in the end he somehow joined Watford. So this might be a huge signing for them, might not be, I might be wrong on this one, but I personally have seen a couple of games that he played, just rewatched a couple of highlight videos of him. Of course, highlight videos do not represent how they are in real life, but you could see that this guy is an intelligent player, really good finisher, and has a really good left foot on him. I don't know if he's a left footer because I've seen him score with his right foot as well, but his strikes with the left foot were really good. And a left-footed striker, obviously awkward to defend against. As a defender, you are kind of used to play against right-footed players, so if you show him his left-hand side, he will go over there and smack one in. And Watford, other than that, still have a lot of really good players as well. I just see them doing better than the likes of Stoke City and Southampton, because I feel like Watford is trying to build up their team. They are trying to get better every season. So I do expect them to come in the 11th spot. So now we are getting into the top 10. This is the part which gets really exciting. I do see Crystal Palace in the 10th position, but I might be completely wrong here. It's just my gut feeling telling me that I should rank them higher than I would normally. I think a realistic position for them would have been like 13th, 12th, something like that, but something tells me that Crystal Palace will be doing well this season, and players like Zaha might step up and push them onwards into a really good position. So I'm expecting Crystal Palace in the 10th position. They haven't really made the most amazing signings, let's be honest here, but also they haven't really lost out on too many players. So Crystal Palace, I expect them to come into the 10th position and hope that they will be playing some really good football, because in the past we have seen them with Bolasie and Zaha doing some really great work, and hopefully it will be exciting for them as well. So 10th position right there for Crystal Palace. Moving on into the 9th position, and this is a team that just won the Premier League 2 years ago, and it is Leicester. Leicester City. Now, the team could be doing better than the 9th position, but I do feel like their defense needs an upgrade. I just don't see them not conceding too many goals. But the big thing is that they have actually brought in Iheanacho. Now, I personally always thought that Rashford was a better striker than Iheanacho, and I still do. But that doesn't mean that Iheanacho is an incredible talent. Iheanacho, if he does get his playing time, I think he will be an amazing player for them. And alongside Vardy with his pace, that will be quite an interesting pairing to watch next season. If Mahrez stays, obviously there are a lot of rumours of big teams going after him. I believe AS Roma was one of the teams that was interested in him. I'm expecting Leicester City to get into the top 10 and to really do well and surprise people in a couple of matches with really good performances, especially Iheanacho. I think will have a huge impact on that team, so we can look forward to seeing a couple of really good games from them. 9th position. Now moving on to a team that has actually made a couple of really good signings, and it is West Ham. They have brought in Chicharito, they have brought in Arnautovic, and today they just bought someone else from the Yugoslavian countries. I just don't know what his name is, it's just too complicated for me, sorry lads. But I think the addition of Arnautovic and Chicharito will have a huge impact on the team. They will have 2 more matured players with experience, and Chicharito being the striker that he is, we can expect at least 10 goals from him this season. I wouldn't be surprised if Chicharito goes up to like 20 goals at the end of the season. I think he is a great striker. I think he has just that finisher type in him. He is just so good in getting into good positions and finishing whenever he needs to, and slotting it past the keeper, smacking it in from far away. He can also do that, but he has still that pace in him, and he's really experienced at this point, played in a lot of leagues by now, and played for a lot of big clubs as well. And I think West Ham is a really good team for him. They'll be trying to get the ball to him, and players like Arnautovic obviously will be helping to get into these attacks and play the ball into him and score a lot of goals. I'm expecting Chicharito to score nearly 20 goals this season. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Now at number 7, which I've seen a lot of people have this team and number 7, it is Everton, boys. Everton is a team that have lost out on their striker, but they have brought in the likes of Sandro and a couple of really other good players as well, and they already had a really solid squad, and they're still trying to get in Sigurdsson if Ross Barkley leaves. There's talks about Ross Barkley going to Spurs and Sigurdsson joining Everton. That might be very interesting to see, but currently, with the squad that they have, I think they could do really well. Sandro, in my opinion, is a great striker, but he still has to get used to the Premier League. He still will need around like 3 to 4 months, in my opinion. If he has an instant impact, hey, that's great, but I don't see Everton going further than the 7th position. Apart from the top 6, I see them having the best squad, so that's the reason why I put them into the 7th position. And yeah, I think they will do really well and have some really good games against the big teams. They will definitely nick off some points off the top 6, so look forward to that. Now on to the part that everyone is interested in. It is the top 6, and at this point I know that some people might get annoyed by my prediction, but this is just my opinion, so don't get it wrong. Just be happy, enjoy your day, don't get upset, okay? In the 6th position, I see Arsenal. The reason for that is I just don't see fighters in that team. I just don't see people pushing each other forward. Apart from the likes of Kolasinac and Xhaka, I just don't see anyone playing aggressive. And especially on the wings, apart from Alexis Sanchez, if one of those big players get injured, Lacazette, Özil, Sanchez, the team is done. And they just don't have the proper replacements. So for me personally, squad-wise, if I look at the team and if I look at the attitude of the players, I think Arsenal will be the worst out of the top 6. So there we go, 6th position for them. And I just feel like it's another season where people will be screaming out, Wenger out and stuff. And Arsenal Fan TV will be very happy about that. They'll be making huge amounts of money again. But it's sad. It's actually sad. I think Arsenal could have brought in a couple of other big players. But Lacazette, obviously a huge signing. Kolasinac, you guys will see, he will be the best signing for Arsenal in my opinion. He will have the biggest impact on the team, especially moving forward. He's so good. He's such a tank. I wish Liverpool would have bought him, to be honest. But yeah, there we go. Arsenal coming in 6th. Now here we go. Obviously, as a Liverpool fan, me putting them into this position, people will get mad and they will think, oh, you're doing this because you don't like them, your team are rivals with them. I'm talking about Manchester United. Now, don't get me wrong. On paper, Manchester United have an incredible squad who could go on to win the league title. But here's my issue. The wings and the way the team plays. Now, Lukaku is an incredible signing, guys. He, in my opinion, will be an amazing player. But my issue is I've seen him play. I've seen him play in the last few games and the preseason and before that at Everton. And I just don't feel like the system and the players that they have on the wings will be working out for him. Mkhitaryan will have to play on the right wing because he's the only one who can provide the ball to him, in my opinion. Down the left-hand side, Rashford, Martial, Lingard, all of those can play on either side, but I just don't see these guys being the ones to cross the ball to Lukaku for him to put it in or putting it into his feet. I just see way too many attacking players who try to get into dribbling situations, try to get past players and are not playing the simple passes. Mkhitaryan is that type of player who does see the runs, who can cross the ball in perfectly into Lukaku. On the right hand side, I do see him playing, but my main issue with this team is that I think they won't be scoring too many goals if players like Pogba, Lukaku do not step up. I wish Martial would do well. I really hope that Martial will be doing well because I think he's an amazing player. But the main issue here is that I don't think the play style that Manchester United play at the moment fits Lukaku, and it will take some time for him to get used to it. But now there is one more thing that we have to consider. Zlatan. He might still sign with Manchester United, and if he does, this team will be incredible. So they have brought in Lindelöf, they have brought in Lukaku, they are still maybe looking for a winger. I still see Manchester United as a possible champion side, but if I had to rank them right now, I would put them into the 5th position. Good luck, Manchester United, nothing against your players and all that. I just think that the team is just not ready yet, and I feel like you need some wingers. On to the 4th position. Now this is, of course, another surprise for a couple of people. It is the former champions, Chelsea. I have seen them play, I've seen their transfers, Diego Costa against Conte. There is just too much going around with the Chelsea squad. In the attack, I just don't see them scoring as many goals as last season. Their defense will be amazing, don't get me wrong. They have an incredible defense and they might still get Van Dijk. And if they do, their defense will be even better. But the main issue right here is their attack. Just like with Manchester United, they have great wingers. They have Hazard, they have Willian. Nothing against those guys. Those guys are incredible. But the main issue right here is that Batshuayi and Morata, I feel Batshuayi is a good player, don't get me wrong, but it's not a player that will get you a goal per game. And Morata, I feel the same with him. Diego Costa, you knew this guy will get at least like 18 or 16 goals a season at least. And I just don't see this in Batshuayi and Morata. I wish that Morata could be that incredible player for Chelsea because the price tag is really high, and I do really like Morata. I like the way he plays. I like his finishing. He is just such an instinctive striker in my opinion. Reminds me a lot of players like Chicharito who are just so good in front of goal. And Morata has the potential to become one of the best strikers in the world, but he has never been given the time. Now, since Batshuayi has been doing really well in a couple of matches in the pre-season, There's talks about him playing in the starting lineup or Morata. Obviously, because of the price tag, I think Morata will be preferred in the starting lineup. But as soon as he starts doing bad after like 2 or 3 games, Batshuayi again will get his chance. And I think that is a big issue. I think it's a big issue that 2 strikers are kind of on the same level right now and they don't really know who to play. Conte will have some issues with that. I think he wants like a couple of additions into the team still. I don't know if he still will be getting it. Abramovich, I don't know if he wants to spend more money. Obviously, in today's transfer market, bringing in big players costs a lot of money. Bakayoko and Morata, 2 huge signings. Bakayoko alongside Kante. I can see that being an amazing partnership. Chelsea still have one of the strongest squads out there. They have great players on the bench as well. So I wouldn't say that this team is not able to win the title. But as I said before, if I had to rank them right now with the situation that they have, I would say that Chelsea is coming in the 4th position because of the whole Diego Costa situation. Now at number 3, no, I am not thinking that my team can win the title. I am putting in Liverpool at number 3. The reason for that is that in the past, holy shit, it is bright as fuck right now. In the past, we have seen Jurgen Klopp pull off a couple of miracles, and a lot of them considered time. You had to give him time in order to create a team that he is comfortable with and a team that can just do what he wants on the pitch. Last year we have seen that with the likes of Lallana, Wijnaldum, Henderson really taking over in midfield and just putting the pressure onto the opponents as soon as they got the ball and everyone pushing together. That's something that we saw last season, and I think the team now knows how to play. And the main reason I put Liverpool into the 3rd position is that I think that we will be getting Van Dijk. If we do not get Van Dijk, I see Chelsea and Manchester United getting past us. But if we do get him, I think that we could get into that 3rd position because Matip has been an incredible centre-back last year and Van Dijk alongside him would be great. Klein down the right-hand side, Milner down the left. Hey, I'm not against Milner. I freaking love James Milner on the left-hand side. He's very consistent, might not be the best defender, but he's trying his ass off and he's pushing the team forward. And that's one thing I do like. So the big discussion, obviously, apart from Van Dijk is, what's happening with Coutinho? Does he stay or does he go? Right now, I feel like Coutinho is not really pushing for the move. Obviously, he would want to play for Barcelona, but if Klopp talks to him, and I think he already did, I don't think that Coutinho is leaving. I honestly don't think Coutinho has a reason to leave because he does see a project growing. He does see new players coming in by the likes of Mohamed Salah. Those 2 have linked up perfectly together. So I can see Liverpool playing with Daniel Sturridge or Firmino up top. Behind them is obviously Solanke. He could be a striker that gets a lot of playing time in this upcoming season. But I think that Firmino and Daniel Sturridge will be switching positions a lot in the striking position. One of them will be on the bench, obviously. On the left, I do expect Sadio Mane. I do expect Salah to play down the right. I think Klopp wants both of them to be able to cut inside and take shots because we don't really have that tall striker up front who is just waiting for crosses. If we do play with Solanke up top, Salah should be on the left. Mane should be on the right because then they can cross it in with their better foot, and I think that would be a good way to play. But behind those guys, behind Salah, Mane, Firmino, I want Coutinho at the number 10 role. That is very important because the way Coutinho plays, if he has the freedom to play in the number 10 role and roam around everywhere on the pitch, I think Coutinho can be an incredible player for any team. He has the dribbling, he has the vision, he has those passes, and he has the shot on him. We have seen it multiple times over the course of the last few years. So Coutinho, if he stays and if Van Dijk joins, I see Liverpool in the 3rd position. Now moving on into the top 2, and right now you guys will get to see who I expect to be the champions. Spurs have been very consistent. And I think they have an amazing squad and they are just keeping on improving, and they have tried to keep most of their best players. Obviously, Kyle Walker just left. That is a huge hit. but a lot of Spurs fans do believe in Trippier being the backup who can take over his position and maybe do even better than Walker. And they have the team that has been playing together for a long time now. They have the consistency, everyone knows each other. They have a great defense, probably the best in the Premier League apart from Chelsea. And I just don't know. I don't see them doing bad. I see them being consistent. Eriksen, Dele Alli, Harry Kane, amazing players in the squad. Heung-min Son has been doing really well last season as well. So Spurs, in my opinion, could easily win the title if any of the big teams slip up. There we go. I see Spurs winning the title, but I think Manchester City will be doing it because Manchester City have spent money in the positions that they desperately needed additions to. Straight when the season stopped last season, so in May basically, Zabaleta, Kolarov, Clichy, all of the guys that you were thinking were not good enough for the team anymore just left. They were gone. City said goodbye, have fun at another team. Now it's time for change. And they brought in the likes of Kyle Walker. They brought in the likes of Danilo. They brought in Mendy, who I think is an incredible left back. I think he will be the biggest addition to the team. And with the likes of Aguero, De Bruyne, Gabriel Jesus, I just don't see City not doing well this season. They might have a few issues with injuries in the midfield. If players get injured, the likes of Gundogan or Kevin De Bruyne, I see them struggling, yes, but they still do have some incredible players and they have really good squad depth as well. So in my opinion, it will be Manchester City winning the title because I just don't see them doing bad, man. Only injuries can hold them back, in my opinion. And if Kompany can play through the whole season, I see City winning the league title. If not, I think Spurs will be winning it. And I would actually like to see them winning it because they have been very consistent. And I think the players deserve it at this point. But hey, that's about it. I think you guys will hopefully enjoy my list. Obviously, a little bit biased as well, but I try to be as neutral as possible. I try to look at the squads, look at the transfers coming in, transfers going out. Now it's your turn. In the comments down below, boys, let me know what is your prediction for this Premier League season. Will be much appreciated. And other than that, I wish you guys a great day. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.